Okay, our brother Pius Jeremiah was in the den of ritualists for 13 days.
How did he get there?
He went to Lagos for a function. He is a tailor by profession and decided to branch one of the markets in Lagos and get some materials that when he's coming back to Abuja, he'll be able to sell those materials to his customers. He said while in the market, he was done purchasing and was coming out, and then a young man held him by the hand and asked him where he was headed for. On the spot, he lost consciousness of where he was. And he was taken into a car. He said, well, he could still recollect what he saw in the car. He saw like 4 people, 4 young men in the car. And he was added to them. And they became 5 passengers. That was all he could remember. That the next time he opened his eyes, he was in a strange environment. It was an underground building, a basement building. On the same day that he got to that den, or they brought them to the den, he said 4 of those other people, because they were all males, were executed right in his eyes. The explanation is very gruesome. We can't go into the details. Before they execute, he said there was something like a necklace they will hang on their necks.
A charm.
They will
hang on
so
their neck.
if the oracle accepts, the person is taken out for execution. The execution was right before his eyes. That happened to the first person, to the second person, the third person, to the fourth person. They placed the same on him. It didn't work. He said before he got to Lagos, he went to Lagos, I beg your pardon, with a bottle of anointing oil blessed from this commission. And that he used daily as his cream. So it was a strange occurrence. They said, nobody comes to this place and returns back alive.
And they placed it on your neck. And what happened? It didn't work.
Yes, sir. And they say that, where are you coming from? I say, I'm coming from Abuja. Now say that, who is your father? I mean, is it my biology father or my father in the Lord? My father in the Lord is Pastor Dr. Paul Enenche. That is when the man now started shaking.
He started shaking. My father in the Lord is Dr. Pastor Paul Enenche. He started shaking.
So he said, do you have any number that we can call? We are not after people's money. We are after people. We use people to make money. So I say, I don't have anybody's number except my father in the Lord. He said, if it is your father in the Lord, I can't call him, but you can give me another person's number. I say, I don't have anybody's number apart from my father in the Lord. He said, okay. They say, the guys should take me to a room. So after taking me to the room, the next day, they bring me out again. After bringing me out, they still do the same thing. All this thing they are doing is not working.
They still place the charm on the neck to see if their oracle will accept him. It's not working.
It's not working. So they now say that, okay, since everything we are doing here is not working, then we are going to waste you. The first one. 1 minute.
Before then, there was also a detail. After it didn't work the second time, there were other people that were there before you came. They placed the same on the neck, and then it worked. They took those ones out.
So the one that was with standing with the boss, he was holding AK-47.
That is, since we cannot offer you for sacrifice, we'll just kill you ordinarily.
So that is how the one that is standing with the boss now shoot a gun at me. I always, anywhere I go, I always go with my sanctuary ID card.
Sanctuary keeper's ID card here. That's the sanctuary keeper's ID card.
So the bullet, this is the sign of the bullet.
A bullet hole here, come.
The bullet hole is there.
Well, it's a little dark here, sir, but there is a hole here. Good. There's a hole there.
And this was in the pocket.
That it hit the ID card.
It hit the ID card and returned.
It dropped back
and
on
dropped.
the floor. Yes.
It was headed straight for the heart.
The heart.
That's the heart position. Fifth left intercostal space, mid-clavicular line.
So the man shook back. He tried to shoot the gun again. The gun refused to work. So he was like, what happened to this?
He tried to shoot the gun again. The first time the gun hit the chest, bore a hole, and hit this sanctuary keeper's ID card. You shall serve the Lord your God. He shall bless your bread and your water. He shall take away sickness from the midst of you, and the number of your days.
So he tried to shoot again. The gun didn't work. So he was like hitting the gun.
He was hitting the gun. Why is this gun not working?
Why is the gun is not working? The process is turn the gun upside down. That is how the gun explodes.
The gun fired at him.
Fire at the man. That is how that one was laid to rest.
The gun fired at the one holding it, and he died on the spot. He died on the spot. You know, I told you to wait and hear testimony. The gun hit the ID card first and returned back. And then he shot again, refused to fire. What is happening to this gun? How is it not firing? Bah!
On the third day, the very day I landed on their camp. So there is one, that one was very kind to me. He said that any food they bring for you or any water, don't take it. So I was there. The very night, and I have an encounter with mommy. Mommy come and say, son, I say, ma. He say, what are you looking for up and down? Why are you moving up and down? Stay one place. Now gave me food. I ate the food in the dream. Since that on Thursday till now, I've not eaten anything.
And no hunger.
And no hunger.
Say, don't eat their food, don't drink their water. So the Lord brought him food in the dream through his handmaiden. You know, both of us, I am man, she is woman. In every house, it is the mother that gives food. So she was the one that gave him the food in the dream. Now, normally they say eating in the dream is a problem. But this one, eating in the dream is a blessing. He ate the food in the dream, and from that day till today, he hasn't tasted food yet, and he's okay.
So even that food was special. So that is how the boss now said that, which kind of boy is this?
Which kind boy is this? Our charm didn't work on him. Our man who wants to kill him killed himself. Bullet couldn't enter, and the man killed himself. What kind of boy is this?
So that is how they take me back. The man, I called one of the home cell leader.
Where is Brother Peter, his home cell leader? So he called his home cell leader because he said the young man who showed him favor often sneaked his phone and gave to him to communicate. At some time, he was able to get across to the home cell leader and communicated the same to him. Yeah. So the home cell leader said, okay, he was going to send a text to the senior pastor.
Yes.
And then he did send a text to the senior pastor, waiting for a response. So one of those days, while he had the phone, the boss came in and caught him with the phone in his hand and said, "What are you doing with the phone?" As he held the phone, he said there was a sound of a text message. Even though at this point, this is a phone. The phone had gone blank. He can't tell, no, there is charge, but the screen is bad. So the sound came in, and then he felt this could be the reply or response of the senior pastor. The boss went away with the phone just about 3-4 days ago. This other man had been killed by the rifle.
Yes.
The boss, this time around, went to sleep.
Now, you came to me to tell me about him.
Yes, sir.
When you told me one person had died.
Had died, yes, sir.
So I said to you, he is released under 24 hours. After more people have died.
That was on Monday after Eli Wulai's sick day prayer. Because I got the distress text at about 1 a.m. on Monday morning. So I presented it to the senior pastor after the Eli Wulai sick day, and he laid hands on my tablet with his picture and made these declarations he had made and said, under 24 hours, he will be released. And more deaths.
And more deaths.
We'll revisit that one later. The boss took the phone. That was the last he saw. The boss went to sleep that night. The following morning, the boss couldn't wake up. The boss died in his sleep.
Not every meat can be eaten by the lion. Not every meat can be eaten by the devil. Not every meat can be eaten by the devil. The boss could not wake up in the morning.
So the young men woke up to meet the corpse of their boss. And they said, what is happening here? If boss can die, then nobody is safe here. But we cannot release this young man. We'll rather waste him. And then they took him, put him in their car, and took him to the bush. He said 3 people took him in the car. 2 of them standing in front of him with an AK-47, or with AK-47s. And the third one, who was favorable to him, stood aloof. And the 2 in front began to fire. Come closer and see. These are bullet holes. This is an impact of bullet. These are bullet holes. This is a bullet hole. Yes, ma'am. There is another one here. I counted 7 bullet holes in. This is a bullet hole. This is a bullet hole. Show this place. This is big. And then the bullets were dropping like granules. It was at that point that one of them asked, who brought this boy here?
Yes.
Who brought this boy here? Then the one that took hold of his hand from the market and took him to the car was among the 2 that shot at him. And he just said I was the one that brought this boy. He thought maybe it was going to end at that. The other young man turned at him and fired at him and killed him on the spot.
How many deaths so far? They will release him after more deaths.
While they couldn't, the bullet wasn't working, nothing was working. That was when they began to use the base of their rifle and gave him this blunt injury on that thigh there. Either to fracture that leg or whatever. And they refused to break. And they said, since we can't kill you, we will run you mad. They are going to do incantations and everything to make him mad. In that state, they blindfolded him again and put him in their vehicle. Now 2 of them. And drove him. He said the distance they trekked before they entered the vehicle was as far as from where to where?
From here to New Nyanya.
To New Nyanya. That all he knew, they took hold of his fist and were dragging him through the wilderness. Until eventually they got into their vehicle and then drove him to another destination altogether. That was where yes, okay, from.
Then take me from Lagos to Akure, close to Babalola University. Yes.
Okay. That was where they dropped him and then told him, don't untie this thing until we are gone. However, before then, he said the one that was favorable to him gave him 100,000 naira, right? And he said, I can't take this money. It is not clean money. But he saw his plight, that he couldn't communicate with anybody, and said, okay, I'll give you my phone. In his presence, he removed his SIM card, put his own SIM card in the phone. This is a phone of the ritualist. Of the killer. And said, take this phone. Call your people to come and pick you from here. And then eventually, the one that was favorable to him was the keeper of the phones. Yes, ma'am. He was the keeper of the phones. So on that Monday when I came and met with the senior pastor and he issued that decree for 24 hours. That decree was issued at about 7 after the early Woolite sick day. I got a call from the home church leader at about 8:24 in the evening. After the service, okay, that the young man had been released. He's been able to establish.
On that 24 hours. He was released in less than 12 hours.
He's been able to establish contact with him, and then I put a call across. Immediately, I was able to speak to him. Where are you? And he told me his location. Long story made short, this is a bundle of testimony. He walked through the valley of the shadow of death, and is here alive to give Jesus the praise.
Jesus left the bullet holes there, so you and I can know that there is still power in this day and age, that a Daniel can enter the lion's den and still come out alive. I just worship God in any way you can. Dimosi binigwe, Anasi, hallelujah, Anasi, hallelujah, Jehovah, Meriwo, Dimosi bini, Anasi, hallelujah, Anasi. Oh, baby, oh, Hanasi, hallelujah, Hanasi, hallelujah, Jehovah, baby, oh, baby, oh, Honor, lift your voice, sing, go very well, Jesus. Sing it to my time.